Okay, looks like we are live now. Hi, everyone. This is the AMA with the Scale Network and Razor Network. So Scale community is invited to ask all kinds of questions from Razer, learn about oracles, learn about new technologies, learn about what's going on in blockchain space in India. And we have here Rishi, who is the CEO and founder of Razer. And I will let Rishi introduce himself, and then we'll talk about myself a little bit as well. Rishi, could you please introduce yourself and the project?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Jenia. Thanks for having me here, and thank you all for joining, taking your time. So yeah, I'm Hrishikesh. I'm the CEO and founder of Razor Network. I've been actively involved in the crypto community since 2015. I work with different blockchain companies as a developer. The last company I worked for was Consensus. I worked there for around 1.5 years. So in early 2019, the DeFi space was coming up. You know, it was quite small, but I realized that it's quite promising. It's one of the most promising use case for the blockchain. It's probably the only proven use case of the blockchain at the time. And while it was quite promising, I realized that it's extremely limited in the growth due to the centralized nature of the blockchain problem. So that's been the passion and motivation. That's been the focus of my life for the last couple of years, and just trying to solve that problem is why I created Razor Network, and that's what's been driving us. It continues to drive us.
Love it. Love it. And great work you are doing, guys. Great to know you've been in development for 2 years. So great to know great to hear today and to learn how much you've built. But let me also talk a little bit about the event. So we have an hour, and during this hour, and we have over 60 questions that were pre-submitted in a form. We will try to answer as many of those as possible in the first half of the event. And then we will try to take as many questions as possible from the live audience, guys. I can see we have a lot of guests. So where are you guys from? I myself, I'm based in the US. Rishi is in India. Where are you guys joining from? And I'll give people some time. Oh, yeah, great, Jesse. Hi, UK. So there is 2 tabs. There is chat tab and question tab. You can post your comments, participate in the discussion in the chat tab, and also ask your questions in question tab. Okay, I love it. So Germany, Philippines, Romania, Vietnam, Italy. This is amazing. Vietnam again. Yeah, this is great. So welcome, everybody. Really happy to have you all. Really glad to be talking about oracles today. And a couple words about myself. So I run marketing at scale. I'm a VP of marketing. My own story is that I have been in marketing for 20 years. My accent and me, myself, originally I'm from Russia. Came to the US about 10 years ago to do an MBA. In 2017, discovered crypto, left business world, have been working at a big Silicon Valley company, running user retention on like many millions of paid accounts, and joined crypto. And my background is in marketing, data. I'm a data scientist, and I have a background in behavioral psychology. So Daniel Kahneman, Dan Ariely are the people who made a big impact, and they know all their work, apply it in the best way possible. So with the scale. Scale is really special technology. As a scale is a scaling solution which remains decentralized while allowing for connections with the entire Ethereum ecosystem. The way Scale works is that Scale shards the nodes, uses the shards of the nodes in order to create a fully decentralized, really cost-efficient and secure blockchains. And then each DApp can run on such a blockchain without the need to share resources with anybody else, and while being connected to the entire Ethereum ecosystem. Each blockchain runs on a completely decentralized set of nodes, and the sub-nodes in the blockchain get constantly rotated in and out, which allows for each of these fully decentralized systems to be secured with the resources of the entire network. And so Scale is integrated with all major technologies in the Ethereum space and is connected to the entire Ethereum ecosystem. It's very easy to build on Scale. And it's just very, really great to bring in Razer, who are building oracles, and who are working with Scale. So today we will have a chance to ask Razer questions, see how the integration works, talk a little bit about the benefits of the integration and about the benefits of running Razer on Scale. And I will just go in. So can you, Rishi, you gave us a little bit of background on yourself and a little bit of background on the project. Told us what's the history of how you guys got started with the oracles being such an important technology and such an important use case. Can you talk a little bit about that team?
Sure. Thanks a lot for the introduction, Jenia. So yeah, we are fully remote, although majority of the team is based in India. They're located in various parts of India. So yeah, so Shamant is a business development manager. Has more than 10 years of business development experience with IBM. And Skanda is our tech lead, who has experience working with Ather electric bike energy company. It's similar, you can say it's like the Tesla of India. So yeah, yeah, Paras is our marketing manager, very much experienced. We have ex-Amazon working with us. We have a lot of, really smart people, enthusiastic developers working for us, and it's growing very, very fast.
Yeah, love it. So yesterday when we were discussing the event, you made a demo of what you guys are building and how Razer works. Can you please do a demo for the audience as well? Because I think it's very interesting and it's just a beautiful product.
Sure, I'll do that. So I'll just share my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So Razor network, it's a decentralized Oracle network. So our focus and goal, as since day one, has been to solve the Oracle problem, to create an Oracle which is truly decentralized. It has no centralized points of failure. It's permissionless. Anyone can take part in the network. Anyone can be a validator. Anyone can request data from the Oracle. I'm sure you have heard about oracles, but in case you don't know, Oracle. So blockchains applications require different kinds of data. Usually they require price feeds, but blockchain applications don't have access to the internet or any kind of external data. So that's why an oracle exists. Oracle is an entity which provides data from the internet to the blockchain. So that's in simple words what an oracle is. Now, if the oracle is centralized, it can be attacked, or it can behave in a malicious manner and compromise, the data. So that's why there is a need for building a decentralized oracle. So Razor Network is trying to, we are filling that gap. So we have built the Oracle, and it is currently in testnet, deploy on the testnet. And this is our network explorer called Razor-SKALE. So you can visit Razor-SKALE.io to see this dashboard. So for example, here you can see we are reporting what is the price of Ether. So the last price reported by the Oracle is $1,570. You can see there are 8 stakers participating in the network, the total amount of Razor tokens that have been staked by the stakers. So So yes, Razor is a proof of stake oracle. You need to own and stake your Razor tokens in order to become a staker or a data validator in the network. Um, you can see the price history as reported by the oracle. You can also see the different stakers, what is the value that is being reported by them, what is their stake. So as you can see, like different stakers have different stake. This is because the stakers who are consistently reporting honest data, they are getting rewarded more. And in case there is the node goes offline or it is deviating from the true data, then they may get punished or they get lesser. So yes, so you can see all the historical transactions that have happened in the network. You can also see other data like Bitcoin. We also have stocks. So Microsoft, what is the price of the Microsoft stock and what is the value of euro with related to USD. So these are different values that are being reported at the Razor-SKALE. And this testnet is open for anyone to join. We have a faucet. Here you can get some free testnet tokens, and then you can stake those tokens to become a staker in our testnet. So this is kind of a quick introduction of our platform, and we are happy to help those who are interested in running and testing our testnet.
I love to see this. Rishi, what is the source of data for the most important of your feeds?
Uh, so for Ether, so you can go to explore transactions and jobs. Here you can see which data we are using, data feeds we are using. So we are using Gemini for Bitcoin and Ether data feeds, and we are using Unibit for Euro and Alpha Vantage for Microsoft. So this is a testnet where we focused on the core consensus algorithm, which is uh, I think it's fully developed. Um, but there are some features that we are still developing. So one of these important features is the ability to use multiple data sources, not just one data source. So in case the data source goes down or if it is compromised, it will not affect uh, the operation of the Oracle.
Yeah, that's great. I also, so this is a clearly very important product, and oracles are a very important technology. Rishi, let's talk about why it's so hard to use real world data on blockchain and why oracles make it easy and how Razor makes it easy.
Sure. Um, so blockchains, like in technical words, the issue is that blockchain is a deterministic system. So that means that all the data in the blockchain needs to be verified, completely verifiable at any given point in time. So that is the reason why you cannot call any data or fetch any data from the internet from the blockchain applications. So this is kind of a common question as to why doesn't anyone just modify their blockchain to include a oracle in it. It's not it's a theoretical problem. um, so yeah, traditionally the oracle problem, it is solved by creating centralized entities or companies which fetch the data, like they take the data from the internet and then they push it on the blockchain. Um, but if like I explained, if they behave maliciously or if they go down, then the data is compromised. Now, that is the reason why there is a need for a decentralized oracle. Now, this also has been attempted in the past by many companies and projects, but it's one of the most difficult problems to solve in the blockchain. The reason being, there are just so many different kind of attacks that can happen, um, and there are just so many game theoretical attacks that can happen, and trying to design a system um, which is secure from all of these attacks while still being fast enough is extremely difficult. So that is the reason why we spent so much time. We spent almost 2 years in research and development. We experimented with different kinds of mechanisms. We wrote the code for it. We ran simulations, um, and yeah, after 2 years of work, we have finally came up with the design for Oracle, which is extremely secure. But at the same time, it is fast enough and it is practical enough for DeFi applications where the data they require very fast data. They need low latency data, and Razor is able to achieve that. So so yeah, it's extremely important. The the data needs to be secure. It's extremely important because uh, now the blockchain, like DeFi space, has grown to billions and billions of dollars worth of economies, and just one wrong data point can destroy an application completely. The hacker can compromise the application and steal a large amount of funds. So that's why it's extremely important to create a secure, decentralized Oracle, which is at the same time fast and practical to use. Sorry, I think you are muted.
Oh. I am muted. Yeah, there was some background noise. I decided to spare you guys of it. So this logically brings us to the next question. What are the most important real-life applications of Oracles?
Okay. So yes. So the DeFi space, like I said, like 2 years ago, that was the pretty much the only proven use case, and even today, I see it's still um, mostly the only proven use case or the major use case I see of the blockchain. It's just huge. The DeFi space has grown to billions and billions of dollars, as you can see, it's growing exponentially. Uh, So if you see the DeFi space, if you see each of these applications, you can see there are a lot of yield farming, there is a lot of swaps. If you see each of these applications, you can see that most of these applications are about speculation about the crypto space, which is cool, which is nice. There's nothing wrong about it. Um, but I think there is a much bigger market outside of the speculation of the crypto space, which is the speculation of the real world assets like oil or non-crypto assets, which is, I think it's a $18 trillion industry. And if we are able to, as an ecosystem, if we are able to target that market, that can really catapult the entire industry to a whole new level. Um, so how we can do that is with synthetic assets, creating assets which track real world assets, on the blockchain. So that I feel is the most promising use case for the blockchain, and that entire use case completely depends on um, the Oracle which is secure enough to handle that kind of large economic security. Um, which is able to handle the throughput that is required for such an application. Um, that is a strong need for the hour, and that is definitely what we are trying to target to take this entire ecosystem to a whole new level.
Yeah, understood. I think that it's time to switch to more questions from the audience. I really like to set context, as everybody has very different level of how much they know about the project, how much they know about the particular vertical. There is John who says that he thinks most people want to talk about decentralization. So guys, let's go into the questions, and there is a lot of really good ones. So first of all, Scale and Razor, love what you guys are doing, and thank you very much. We love you guys too. So question about integration with other layer ones other than Ethereum. So are you guys planning to integrate with Cosmos, Cardano? So what are you, I think that this is a broad question on, are you guys looking at other layer ones? Are you guys planning to step outside of the Ethereum space at some point?
Yeah, definitely. The space is growing much beyond Ethereum at this point. It's almost it's a necessity. Ethereum is become really expensive, and Ethereum 2.0 is still is still far away from mainnet, like with all the features released. So we are seeing a lot of adoption of different blockchains. So that's why Razor is the oracle that we have designed to be completely blockchain agnostic. So we have many partners in the space. Of course, Scale being a very early and important partner of us. We are also partner with some other L1 and L2 chains such as Algorand, Polygon, Electron Network, etc. Um, so yes, we will definitely. About the future partnership, I can't speak much at the time, but what I can say is where there is a need for fast and secure Oracle, we will definitely look into integrating with them.
Very good. Now let's talk about the security.
Mhm.
Can people feel safe with Razor? How does Razor make sure that in case the network is attacked, there is a way to mitigate the attack in a decentralized fashion? So let's talk about network security. Let's talk about how decentralization is used to achieve that.
Sure, absolutely. Um, so yes, Razor, we have built the Oracle ground up, taking the security very seriously. That is our main focus, the security and decentralization of the Oracle. Um, so how Razor works is essentially it's a proof of stake network. The stakers stake their Razor tokens in order to become a validator. Then they fetch the data. Let's say they are trying to find out what is the price of Razor. Um, so what we do is we use a truth by consensus algorithm. What that means is that we believe that the majority of the stakers are being honest and whatever the value they're reporting is correct. So if we see, let's say, 10 stakers saying Razor it has 2000 is at $2,000 and sorry, Ether is at $2,000 and one staker is saying Ether is at $1 million, we assume that um, the staker which is reporting a very different data is being malicious or there is some kind of attack that is happening. Uh, so we actually slash the stake of the staker which is reporting different data, and we um, reward the stakers which are reporting accurate and in consensus. So that is the basic nature of the algorithm. Now, the issue, so this is called a shelling coin algorithm, which is quite basic in nature. The issue with this algorithm is that if you are able to compromise the network, uh, if you convince the majority of the validators which are reporting this data to, if you bribe them, for example, and ask them to report incorrect data, the network is compromised and there is no way to recover from this attack. The application will use the incorrect value and it will be compromised, and there's no way to recover from it. So that's why what we have designed an iterative dispute resolution protocol. So what that means is uh, anyone can dispute any result of the oracle. So anyone, if they see that the oracle is reporting incorrect data, they can dispute that result. And if they successfully dispute that result, they get rewarded. So there is definitely a strong incentive for them to dispute that result. And it's iterative. So what that means is that the result of the dispute round can again be disputed over and over again. So that's the key thing, which is absolutely necessary to make the oracle extremely resistant to all kinds of attacks. Um, so that is kind of an overview of how we are able to build a secure, decentralized oracle, which is resistant to all kinds of attacks.
So I have a clarifying question on this. In case the data has already been used in a DApp, and it has been successfully disputed, which means that somebody was able to prove that the data is wrong, but the data has already been used in a DApp. What happens in this scenario?
So we so the applications are able to so we have a dispute period. So let's assume it is 10 minutes. Once the result is reported by the Oracle, there is a 10-minute window um, uh, where anyone is able to dispute the transaction. And if no one disputes the transaction within those 10 minutes, we deem the result as confirmed. So we'll leave it to the applications. Not all applications require a very secure result. So if it's a low economic security application, then they can use an unconfirmed result. We don't recommend it, but we leave it to the applications. Um, if it's a very critical, mission critical applications, then definitely they need to wait till that dispute window is over and the result is confirmed. So then you can be sure that the result is correct. So yeah, so that is what we recommend.
Yeah, let's talk about decentralization now. There is a lot of questions on decentralization, and they range from how exactly are you guys decentralized, how do you run your nodes, and there are also people who are challenging AWS and the practice of running nodes on AWS. As it's clear that AWS can shut down the nodes at any point in time, just like will. So how are you guys solving for that?
Sure. So so the network, so Razor Oracle is completely permissionless. So what that means is that we do not choose who becomes a validator. Anyone can become a validator. Um, as long as they have the required number of Razor tokens. So that definitely the permissionlessness is very important to decentralization. Um, Second thing is you don't need any special hardware to become a staker in Razor. You don't need a powerful VPS or a AWS server. Razor node is very lightweight. Anyone can run it on their personal computer or laptop. I'm sure it's possible to run it on a Raspberry Pi as well. So that is because it's a very lightweight node and it's a proof of stake uh, consensus algorithm. So you don't need any graphics card or any mining hardware. So these are the steps that we have taken to make sure to kind of level the playing field and allow anyone to be a staker and maximize the decentralization.
That's great. Let's also talk. So we talked about decentralization. Validators come in the game. Who are the major Razor validators, if you have major ones, or you are fully focused on running on a fully decentralized fashion where everybody can run a node? And also investors. Who are the major investors in Razor?
Sure. So we do have a couple of partnerships. So we are partnered with Mantra DAO to run our nodes. We also have Audit One, which is a persistence validator node. Um, so we do have some validators, and we'll continue to partner with more validators. But it's not really important, I feel. We do want to uh, we do want the community to run the node. We do want in the spirit of decentralization uh, to have as many community nodes as possible. So we will have some programs to kind of encourage that. So we'll have a incentivized testnet soon. Till that time, they are welcome to run our test nodes. It's not incentivized yet, but we will appreciate the feedback from the community around it. Um, so about investors, we raised $3.7 million from a very notable investors. So some of our investors include industry leaders such as NGC Ventures, IOSG, Alameda Research, Spark Digital Capital, and so on. We are also invested by Borderless Capital, which is Algorand's funding arm. And also there is one investor that I'm really proud of is uh, Mariano Conti. Is individual investor who has invested in us. He probably wrote the first Oracle in production. He wrote the Oracle for MakerDAO. So I'm really proud to have him on board as our investor.
That's amazing. Very impressive.
Thanks a lot.
Rishi, let's talk about the use cases.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, so then there we have a bunch of questions on use cases. Some of the ones that I think will be interesting to everybody will be decentralized finance has become a hot topic in the industry. So can you talk about and detail the DeFi use cases? And also, what is the most promising DeFi application on Razor network at the moment?
Mm-hmm. So I think, like I said, like the synthetic assets is really, really interesting. I see in the DeFi space. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's very important to take the entire space to the next level. Um, then the decentralized identity is also it's quite important. It can open up a lot of new uh, applications such as under collateralized loans and things like that. Um, So yeah, decentralized lending, uh, swaps, derivatives, a lot of interesting applications. Um, so we do have one of the one of our partners includes Open DeFi. So they will be using once we are on mainnet, they'll be using our price feeds to mint synthetic assets such as gold and silver and other real world assets. So that that is one of the partnerships that I'm really excited about. Um, yeah. So,
Yeah, love it. What about so with everybody who is building on Razor? How easy it is to join how easy it is to join the community of builders, and also how easy is it to do the integration? Can you talk about compatibility with the Ethereum ecosystem? Can you talk about compatibility with wallets? Can you talk about the developer experience with Razor?
sure, absolutely. So so Razer, it supports it is written in Solidity or it is EVM compatible, so it works on many different EVM chains. So that is one of the reasons why we are excited to work with Scale is that we can use the same tooling and same programming language. We don't have to use any different tools. So how we use Razor on Scale is very similar to how you can use it on Ethereum, for example. Um, so we do have a documentation site called at docs.razor.network. I'll just share the link in the chat.
Very good, thank you.
Sure. So it is really easy to use the results from the Oracle. We can see here you will need to know the job ID of the query. So you need to go to this link, select the data feed that you are interested in, let's say Ethereum, and you can see the job ID is one. So all you need to do is to call the get result function of our delegator contract uh, along with the job ID, and you will get um, the value or the price of that asset. So yeah, it is very simple. I think it will be maybe 2 or 3 lines of code in your application to use Razor. We do also have a tutorial written specifically for Scale. Currently, it's written for the Scale testnet, um, how you can access Razor oracles on the Scale testnet. So you can already start developing your application and test it, and be ready for launch when we go live on mainnet.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Let's talk about your guys' tokenomics.
Mhm.
How does the token work on Razor? What are the major applications? How does it help make the network more secure, which you already a little bit covered? So what is the tokenomics?
Mhm. So we do have a fixed supply. So Razer, maximum supply of Razer is 1 billion tokens. Um, and 40% of these tokens will be rewarded to the stakers in the network. So there is a large chunk of tokens that is reserved only for the stakers in the network. So we believe, we want to reward the stakers as much as possible so that we attract a large number of stakers. And that is essentially what will drive the economic security of the Oracle, which is very important. So, uh, yes, so around I don't remember the exact numbers, but the private sale we sold around 20% of the tokens were allocated to private sale investors. Around 20% is for the team, advisors, founders, uh, and around 20% is reserved for grants and for ecosystem development. Uh, so yeah, that is kind of an overview of the tokenomics.
Yeah, that's great. And given we are talking about the token, you guys just did your token sale,
Hmm.
literally in the last month.
Yes.
Can you talk? And you used a really interesting approach, which the project is great. Many people heard about the project thanks to the token sale, learned a lot about you guys. Can you talk about the token sale and how you guys approached it?
Sure, absolutely. So in proof of stake, it's very important to have as many holders of your token as possible. So that is definitely very important. So we do believe, in decentralization. So that's why we wanted to as many users to be able to purchase the token. So there are some platforms that are available, uh, which a lot of projects use, but um, these are not really able to achieve those goals. So you can see some of the platforms, like some of the token sales, they are sold out in few seconds or few minutes. Um, uh, but in reality, only bots are able to buy the tokens. Like the transactions get front run by the bots, and they're able to purchase the token, and then they sell it on a DEX at a much higher price. So that is definitely something we didn't want to do. So that's why we did a lot of research on different platforms that we could use, and we found out about Balancer, liquidity bootstrapping pool. Um, so which was a very interesting mechanism because the way the pool works is that it starts at a very high price, and then it kind of pushes the price downwards. Um, so this does is that it discourages bots because there is no benefit for the bots. There's no benefit to buy the token as soon as possible. In fact, um, you can lose if you buy the tokens too early. Um, so we selected this method and we ran the token sale for 48 hours. So we had around $21 million of swap volume. So the users were able to both buy and sell the tokens because it's a liquidity pool. So the total swap volume was $21 million for 48 hours, and there were 2.6K total swaps that happened during this time. Um, so, so yeah, it was very successful. We were able to achieve our goal, and we were able to, distribute the tokens to a large number of participants, and yeah, it was great event.
That's great. Love it. So how do you guys monetize? There is a lot of questions on profitability. I think a wider lens on that is monetization. How do you guys monetize? How does the protocol monetize?
Hmm. I think the monetization aspect is quite similar to most of the projects in the ecosystem. So we raised money through our token sales, and that has provided us sufficient runway for many years. So we are not really worried about monetization in the short term. Uh, the company does own around 18%, I think, of the tokens, which have long vesting periods. Uh, and in case we do need further funding, we can use those tokens to increase our runway further. But yeah, that is definitely not required for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, got it. Very nice. I'm starting to mix into the questions that we received before the event in a forum. I'm starting to also ask questions from a feed. I really like the way you guys are thinking and the way you guys are like just requiring information. So smart contracts are vulnerable to bugs, clearly. And even recently, there were 3 big DeFi projects which were victims of this, costing, of course, user funds. How efficient and secure is your smart contract? How did you audit it? Did you use the third party?
So yeah, so definitely, there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of attacks happening in the network, in the ecosystem. Um, so that's why we do take the security very seriously. Like we spent, like I explained, a lot of time to design the mechanism properly and securely. And we don't want to cut any corners when we write the implementation of the mechanism. So that's why we are not rushing for the mainnet. We will release. Uh, we are planning to release next quarter, but we will. It is important for us to complete the development, make the code as efficient as possible, and get it audited from well-known security auditors to make sure it is fully secure. Um, so regarding audits, it's not completed yet because the development is still ongoing. Once the development is done, we'll get it audited, and we are going to launch it in a phase manner so that we will launch with limit on the maximum amount of staking that can happen in the network. So in case there is any attack, then the loss can be limited, and then we'll slowly increase the maximum stake in the network. Also, the incentivized testnet that is we are going to launch before the mainnet. That is another way to test the network, make sure it is completely bug-free and secure before the mainnet launch. So these are the different ways we are looking at to make sure the platform is completely secure.
Yeah, very good. There is also a question from the previous set, which is very just a great fit for this. You guys at Razor Network claimed that it is impossible to profitably attack the Oracle. Does this imply that even if an attacker successfully compromises the Oracle, he won't be able to get away with no consequences? So just the person won't be able to get away. I still find it difficult to believe, though.
Okay, sure.
So what about the ability to profitably attack an Oracle?
Okay, so yeah, the answer to this is a little bit technical, so I'll try to explain it in simple words. So 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 I explained why the dispute round is necessary. Is that if someone attacks the Oracle, they can get away with it without any consequences. That's why we created the dispute round where anyone can challenge the result of the Oracle. Uh, they are very well incentivized to do that, and if there is any attack in the Oracle, then it can be resolved in the dispute round. The problem is that the dispute round itself can be attacked because it's not very different from the first round of the Oracle. So that's why we created the iterative dispute round. So that means that you can dispute the results of the dispute round to create, another dispute round and so on. So this can be iterated many times. So we kind of imitated the justice system in some way, where you can see, in very crude words, maybe if you do some kind of crime, it goes to district court. Let's say it's possible to bribe the district court by $1 million, the judge of the district court by $1 million, but someone escalates the dispute, then it goes to the higher court. Um, but the higher court is more difficult to bribe for whatever reason. So you have to pay the bribe of $10 million. Uh, then it goes to the Supreme, but the victim can escalate the dispute further. Then it goes to Supreme Court, where it's almost impossible to bribe the judges. So we kind of imitated the same mechanism where the economic security in each round is doubled. So what that means that is that you might be able to bribe the stakers, but the bribe required for each round is doubled with every round. Um, and after after the final round, if you're still able to attack the network, then uh, it can go into a fork state. So what that means is that the protocol can split into two versions. The token can also split into two versions, and then market can decide which one of the versions is the honest one. So because the market, it's assuming that it's impossible to fool the market, the because it just requires so much funds. Uh, so that is why we say it's impossible to profitably attack the network. Yeah.
Very good. Let's also, so that is, of course, competition. There are powerful players like Chainlink. That is another really good and interesting Oracle project, Band. Can you compare Razor to Chainlink and Band, and also explain what are the advantages?
Mm-hmm. So if you see the oracles in the space, if you were to group the oracles in the space into two groups, I would say there's one group like the DeFi oracles, which they are trying to target the DeFi market, the DeFi space. They're trying to uh, report the data as quickly as possible because that is a requirement of the space. Uh, but there is a trade-off, which is the security. If the oracle is compromised, there's no way to recover from it. So that's why these oracles are fast, but they're not secure. There's another group of oracles which are extremely secure, but they're not fast. They can take weeks to resolve the query. Um, so that is the issue that the space is facing at the moment is that we need a fast oracle, but it's not secure. It's not secure from a game theoretical perspective. So that is the gap we are. That is our goal to fill this gap is to create an oracle which is as fast as current DeFi oracles, uh, but provide the maximum game theoretical security that we can provide, the maximum economic security that we can provide. Um, so that is our goal, and that's how we differentiate from all other oracles, and that is clearly what is missing in the current space. And yeah, that is how we can, we can easily uh, outcompete other players in the space.
That's great. Also, how do you guys protect from technical errors and inaccuracies?
Mm-hmm. So technical errors, and so we will allow a collection of API to use. So you can use different data sources to get the data. So in case one of the websites or one of the APIs goes down, you will still be able to get the data. And then from an incentivization perspective, uh, we have penalties if the node validator goes down or if there is any kind of malicious behavior from the nodes. So uh, and of course, if they're behaving well, if they have a good uptime, then they get rewarded. So in the consensus, we have built in these mechanisms to encourage uh, honest behavior and to minimize any kind of issues or glitches that can happen.
That's great. So also, we all understand that this industry is very early, and this is the entire industry is the future. We are, and we are part of having it created, a part of having it built. So what is your guys' long-term vision? Can you give the audience some points on where are you guys looking? How are you guys seeing it all develop? How do you see the future of Razor in the world, which will mostly run on smart contracts?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so the space will continue to grow. The DeFi space and the blockchain space as a whole, it will continue to grow. I think it's still very early. There is going to be trillions and trillions of dollars, total value locked in DeFi smart contracts. Uh, so the where Razor really can shine is uh, high economic security or high security applications or mission critical applications where a lot of value will be locked. One of the examples is of course the synthetic assets applications, which will have many different kinds of real world assets minted, collateralized by crypto, um, and there they will require extremely secure and robust oracles, and that's where we are, you know, that's where will really shine, and that is the gap which very few oracles can be confident to fill. Um, so yeah, the space will continue to grow, and Fraser will grow with it.
I love it. I want to give you a moment just to take a breather, and there is a couple questions to Scale. As community knows, Scale will be going through a really important technology release, where Scale will make Scale chains live. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means and what exactly functionality will go live. So just to give you guys a comparison, just like Polkadot is soon planning to set parachains live. Parachains in Polkadot's white paper, according to them, is the only major piece of technology which is not live yet and which they are planning to push soon. So with the Scale, similar pieces, Scale chains. Scale chains in the ecosystem is exactly the decentralized blockchains, which will be used by DApps. And where DApps will be able to run while still being connected to the ecosystem, and while still being able to be connected to the other chains on Scale network, but significantly saving on gas with almost zero gas cost, and with significant advantages and speed. So Scale is starting to push Scale chains, and we will do it in several stages. What's happening this week and the next week? Scale core team is working with Scale validators in order to deploy testnet and then also deploy to the mainnet functionality that allows this to happen. And the way we will do this is that first, Scale already has almost 100 decentralized applications in Scale Innovator program. Razor is one of such projects. What will happen first is that projects from Scale Innovator program will get access to Scale chains first. So selected projects will get access to their own Scale chain extremely fast, super cost efficient. These Scale chains will be equipped with some really important features, which include decentralized storage, basically IPFS on Scale, so decentralized storage, super fast, really cost efficient, ability to store your data alongside your smart contracts, and Rishi knows how important that is. And also we will enable token-related transactions and data-related transactions, and transaction support for smart contract of any complexity, which in Scale documentation is called IMA. Interchain messaging agent. So all of this functionality is going live right now in several stages, and this will be happening this week and the next week. And we will give you guys posted once certain phases of the testnet or mainnet are live, and then we will keep you posted on how decentralized applications that are using decentralized chains, how they are going live and how they are making use of Scale chains. And we will make sure that you guys are in the loop. We are doing demos, and also people are sharing their experiences of how they're using Scale and what's possible with Scale. Right? Yeah. So that is, and Sebastian, thank you. Really good question. Yeah, Rishi?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm really excited to see all the new releases that are coming up, and we are, really excited to, deploy on Scale mainnet as soon as possible.
Yeah, we are very excited. The Ethereum is such an important technology, Smart contracts are so important to the way basically civilization goes forward. And I'm very excited that scale will be a major part of it. As with the scale, developers can stay full solidity, stay connected to the entire Ethereum ecosystem, which is infinitely valuable. And at the same time, cut off gas cost almost completely. Stay decentralized, so no need to compromise decentralization, no need to start trusting some particular one node that runs some kind of rollup for you guys, and still have access to the full set of, like, you are secure, you have access to the ecosystem, and you are very fast. So really, really interesting technology, really excited to see what will be possible thanks to the combination of decentralization, cost efficiency, and speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like philosophically, Scale and Razor, I think we believe in the same things. We have similar goals like economic security, decentralization, permissionlessness. So that's why it's such a great synergy, and it's a great partnership for us, and we are really happy to work closely with you.
Yeah, really excited. So I want to take one or two last questions. If you guys want to post something, this is the last chance to do so. And there is one question in the previous set that I really like. With the let's talk. So we talked about developers. We talked about how easy it is to stay connected to the entire Ethereum ecosystem. Let's also talk about deployment, and let's talk about deployment experience. Like, what is your own experience of building on ETH? What did you guys learn? What would you guys love to improve? Like, how did your vision change?
So Ethereum definitely has a very strong network effect. There is a lot of DeFi applications on Ethereum. But definitely it is very congested, and it is having a lot of scalability issues. I think we definitely saw it firsthand when we did our public sale on Ethereum. The transaction costs were so high. I think we spent like around $10,000 to $20,000 just in deploying our pool and maintaining our public sale. So, and to buy the Razor network tokens, it could have users could have spent somewhere between $20 to $150 every time they bought the tokens. So it's really, the ecosystem is very interesting. The tools, the network effect, the amount of talent, the developers who are building on Ethereum is very impressive, and we are very happy to support the entire ecosystem. But the scalability is an issue, and we can't wait for 2 years or 5 years or however long it can take for Ether to solve their scalability issues. So, so moving to Scale has been almost very seamless. Like, I don't think we did many changes apart from just changing the endpoint, and we were able to use the same tools that we use to develop on Ethereum, and we were very easy, to migrate to the Scale network. The transactions were very fast and cost very, very less. And yeah, it is solving, all of the scalability issues that we are having with Ether. So that's why, we are very excited and happy to work with Scale.
Excited to hear that. So there is one question about Scale, where could you explain Scale in simpler way? And this is a question to me, so I'll take a minute to explain that, because that is a great explanation. So if you guys imagine, so there are always questions about what Scale is and how Scale works. It's of course a question about ETH, and it's of course at the same time a question about ETH too. So if you imagine that Ethereum is one really high capacity highway, and there is a very it's very wide highway, but the capacity of the highway is very limited, so there are traffic jams regularly. And the more cars people buy, and the more popular is the route, the more jammed it is. So once we switch from ETH to ETH2, We switch from this massive, like super wide one-lane highway where everyone wants to go to in the same direction. We switch to the highway that has 32 lanes. Imagine how fast those 32 lanes will fill up, because people will be buying just more cars, the route will become even more popular, and all issues that we have today with Ethereum, we will, with very high probability, we will start having on Ether2, as Ether2 will need to run the smart contract volume of the entire planet once it is successful. So what you get with the scale is ability to do the same highway, but with unlimited number of lanes, where each lane is its own decentralized blockchain, which runs on subnodes of fully independent nodes, and where subnodes are getting constantly rotated. And to get the subnode, the scale containerizes the nodes. Containerization is a fundamentally important technology in the cloud world, containerization and virtualization. So scale containerizes nodes, creates subnodes, uses the nodes to build fully decentralized blockchains. And in each block of these blockchains, the subnodes get constantly rotated in and out. And to give you some stats on the nature of the network, on the network size right now, as network size really matters. So as of today, Scale runs on almost 50 validator orgs, almost 150 nodes. And this gives enough hardware to run near like 10,000 subnodes. So imagine 10,000 subnodes rotating in and out, being the base for that subnode rotation within each DApp. So that scale, really, it's a very interesting security mechanism, and it's a very far-going vision where the number of lanes on the highway that's called Ethereum and decentralization is just not limited, where every DApp can run on its own blockchain, no need to fight for resources, but still connected to layer one, still connected to the base chain. Right, great. And I want to go back to Rishi and take one last question. Rishi, what are the 3 reasons people should love Razer? And what are the 3 reasons people should be with Razer long term?
So Razer is fully built to keeping, the spirit of decentralization in mind. I think that is we must not forget. I think there are a lot of platforms coming up which are not very decentralized, but they're getting a lot of popularity. I think we have to remember why we are in this space, and we shouldn't evolve into something which is kind of similar to the traditional finance, which is, a lot of gatekeepers, a lot of centralization, um, a lot of issues with the security. So if you believe in the decentralization, in the DeFi, um, and open finance, then definitely I think you will love Razer, because that's what we believe in, and that's what we are working hard to achieve. So that is one reason. Second reason is, we love the DeFi space, and we are I think we are building something very critical to take it to the next level. So it is very important for taking the whole space to the next level, and that's very important. So that is another reason, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's a lot of reasons to like Razer.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the project. Really like the project. Really like how you guys are thinking and how you guys are using the approach of like you've been building heads down for 2 years, and now you're out. You have a really well thought through product with a really strong MVP, and you are iterating and deploying on top of it.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, thanks for the kind words, and yeah, we will definitely keep working hard to achieve the goals that we set out from day one.
I love it. So thank you very much, Rishi, for your time. Thank you to everybody who came to the event and asked really great questions. And we will be sending out 10 scale t-shirts to authors of questions that Rishi and his team will pick. And we will reach back to you guys within the next couple of days. 10 scale t-shirts.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jenia. Thanks for everyone for attending. And we'll also be giving out some Razor tokens to the winners from our side. So, uh, yeah. Thanks a lot for everyone for their time and hope to see you again.
That's great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.